Welcome back. And today we're talking about needs and strategies for meeting needs and how we can sometimes get stuck in the strategies and then that can make it hard to actually identify and get the needs met. And we're going to talk about all of that and how we can get out of that stuck place. I'm Jen. I'm a holistic family consultant and queer polyamorous mom, and I support people who want to better understand their identities and have thriving relationships with their kids, partners, and themselves to envision a world in which everyone can thrive without sacrificing any parts of themselves. So, to get into it, when I talk to clients about what their needs are, and it's a pretty common thing, especially for parents, where one of the reasons they might be coming to me is because some of their needs are not getting met, and that lack is making them feel burned out, exhausted, frustrated, resentful, and so they're trying to figure out, but they feel like, oh, but my kids are intense, or there's all these things I'm juggling and I just can't get my needs met. And it's not sustainable. So there a lot of times they're coming, or it's a really common reason that people come is because they're trying to figure out how can I get my needs met and also be a good parent, not neglect my kids, be a good partner, be engaged in my work, all of these things that they're trying to juggle. And when I first ask a client, well, what is it that you need? A lot of times, the first thing I hear is either I don't know, or I something along the lines of I need a massage or something like that. But I can't get a massage because I don't have childcare, I don't have time, I don't have money, etc. So, and it's always like if that is how it is framed, that the first thing that is identified is a an action, then it's always followed by, but I can't because. And our brain, so the action is, that's a strategy. That's a strategy to get the need met. So the actual need is something that is necessary to live a life that feels good and connected and thriving. And strategies are the things we do in order to get the need met. So a massage, and massage is great. My first career was as a massage therapist, and massage is a way to get potentially a whole bunch of needs met all at once. So this is not to say don't get a massage if that's an option for you. But the needs that might be trying to get met there is maybe there's a need for touch, for connection, for quiet, for space, for ease in the body. Uh, there could be a lot of reasons why someone is saying, "Oh, I need a massage," because there might be quite a few of those needs. And, sure, a massage could be a great way to get a whole bunch of those needs met all at once in just an hour. Great. But all of those needs, if we look at them individually, if we look at, okay, so you're feeling like you need a massage, why? What is the massage going to do for you? What is the massage going to accomplish for you? Why would it be helpful? And get underneath that to figure out, okay, what are the needs trying to get met by this strategy? And so the strategy might feel inaccessible right now for a whole host of very valid reasons like time, money, and childcare. But each of those needs, so if we pick out one of those needs, let's say it was a need for touch that someone was really trying to get met, we can think about that massage is not the only way to get a need for touch met, right? I think we can all imagine that. Massage is not the only way to get a need for connection met. And so when we identify the actual need, then we can start to look at, okay, what needs to happen in order to get that need met if this strategy that you see is not accessible right now. And our brains like solutions. Our brains like everything to feel like it's fixed and it's done and it's taken care of. So it's normal and natural to go straight for the strategy. And often the strategies that we first see are things that have either worked well for us in the past, or they're things that we have seen around us work for other people or seem like they work for other people. And so we think, okay, well, that's how you do that. That's how you get that need met. So it's natural that we would go toward those strategies. And then if that's the only strategy we can see or that we're aware of, and we don't really understand what's underneath the desire for that strategy, then it's really easy to say, well, that's not available to me. And so I guess I just have to survive without getting this need met, or try to convince myself I don't really need it. or something like that. So when we can identify the actual need that's underneath the strategy, and I'm going to stick with touch here just to give an example, but you could apply this similarly to any other need. And you can look up, if you Google something like nonviolent communication needs list, you'll get a whole list of potential needs if you need some ideas, if you're having a hard time considering what those even possibly could be. So uh, the first piece after identifying a need, so in this case, in this example, we've identified touch is a need that is not getting met currently. The next piece I look at is beliefs. What are the beliefs about that need? And so depending on your background, your attachment history, there might be a lot of things that influence this, but there could be, for example, a belief of I shouldn't have that need. I'm not supposed to need that. I should just be able to let it go, not need that. Or there could be a belief of I'm only allowed to get this need met after my children, partners, everyone else has gotten their needs met. Sometimes there can be a belief of this need can only be met in a specific type of relationship. It can only be met by a partner. Um, so whatever beliefs are there, they're not good or bad. It's not that we're necessarily trying to change the beliefs, but we want to find them so that we can ask, is this belief actually true for me? Is this something that I want to practice in my life? Or is this a belief that is unhelpful or is holding me back from getting my needs met? So, for example, if you are a monogamous person and you have a sexual need, then you might decide, like, yeah, I have this belief that this can only be met by this one person. And yes, that's a belief that I want to hold on to. And so then it becomes a question of like, okay, what needs to happen within that relationship? But with a lot of needs, with a lot of these beliefs, a lot of them are things that we've internalized unconsciously over the course of our lives. Some, for example, like that my needs have to come last after everyone else's needs, or that I shouldn't have this need. And when we identify those kinds of needs, it can be really helpful to investigate, okay, well, if that's not what you want to believe, then where does that come from? How can we work with it to start to shift it, or to consciously start to give yourself a different story, to consciously start to shift into a place where it is more possible to meet your needs. So after we investigate the beliefs, the next piece is skills. And do you have the skills necessary to get this need met? So with some needs, this may be the skill to actually meet the need. So with touch, it might be like, would it be helpful for you to learn, some self-touch techniques? That's a skill. Self-touch is a skill that anyone can learn. With some other needs, it might be, can you ask for help? Asking for help is a skill. With touch, it could be, are you able to ask for help from a partner or a friend to give you a hug? Uh, with with some needs, it can be boundary skills. Are you able to say no to something that protects the time and space and energy that you need in order to get your need met? So there can be a lot of different skills depending on the beliefs and depending on the need. And again, depending on your own history, your attachment history, your relationship history. When we can identify those skills, we can say, okay, well, here's a skill that we can build, a skill that you can learn that can make it, again, easier to get the need met or more possible to get the need met. And then the last piece, and only after doing all of those, because we can't get into a creative problem solving state until after we've fully understood and been heard and really gotten all of the layers, so that we are, all of that is fleshed out, and what's left is the ability to think creatively. And so in the creative problem solving, this is where we come back to the strategies. So if we've identified that touch is the need and massage is not the strategy that's available right now, and we've investigated and worked with the beliefs about who and how and when can this need be met, what's allowed. We've worked on the skills of, what would help me get this need, be able to get this need met. And now we can look at, okay, other than massage, how can I get a need for touch met? And this is where we can creatively brainstorm things like self touch, or asking another close adult to give us a hug or a back rub. Or, if you have children, you could invite a child to curl up and snuggle on the couch and read a book together, depending on the child and the age of the child. Um, so there are so many other strategies for how a need for touch could be met. Even something like lying under a weighted blanket could potentially be helpful, depending on the person and what feels like it satisfies this need. So that's the framework that I look at when I'm looking at, what are the actual needs and how can we creatively get them met, and how can we get out of feeling stuck in this place of, I have this need, but I can't get it met, so I just have to live without it, even though that's not working for me. Because there are ways to adjust. There are ways to adjust to what's happening internally or externally, so that there is more opportunity to get more needs met. And if this is something that feels like it's really a lot to figure out on your own, this is something that I help walk people through one on one. And it's also something that we communally help people work through in small group calls, which can be even more beneficial for that brainstorming piece, because then you get more people's ideas than just yours and mine. And so I want to invite you, if this feels difficult, to come and join me in one of those spaces. And the last piece is that I have a workbook now, which is also free, and it's on the homepage of my website, that is about investigating these layers in your relationship. It's called Bubble Mapping, and I will be talking lots more about bubble mapping and what that means, and how to do that in future videos. But you can go ahead and get that workbook now if it would be helpful to work through all of those pieces about your relationship, and what that looks like, and how your needs are getting met, and the skills and beliefs involved. So I look forward to connecting with you soon.